One night, as Barker's jazz shift was winding down, a guy called in and said he was looking for American voices to dub a spaghetti western, one of those films made with a cheap international cast, hired for their faces, that a small studio then dubs into several languages. Barker just handed me the phone. That's how I met Alan Wenger. He had a smooth baritone voice with a touch of New York accent. Alan invited us to join him that night and some friends at Kolonaki Square after 11 so we could talk about the dubbing gig. I'd heard that Kolonaki, located between the Acropolis and Lycabettus Hill, was the most trendy, happening square in Athens. It was said to be jammed with chic designer shops, cafes, people hanging out, being seen and seeing. Barker said the scene just gets started at 11, buzzing on to the wee hours. When Barker's show ended, we drove in my VW Bug past the Hilton Hotel to the edge of downtown, where two 6-lane roads merged. It looked like everybody with a car was merging, honking, yelling, and rubbernecking out their windows. I eased the gray VW into the tide of little sardine cars, lots of Fiat 500s, the smallest car ever mass-produced. Half the cars needed a muffler job and the other half were honking. I was sure I was going to get T-boned. The guy ahead of me stuck his hand out of the driver in front of him, fingers spread wide. "That's right, buddy, give him 5, said Barker. "What's that?" I said. Giving 5 for Greeks is roughly like giving the finger, only you give all 5. Means the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Mary Magdalene, and like another saint of your choice. Something like that. May they all curse you, asshole. It's no surprise, Steve. Greece has the highest traffic deaths per capita in Europe and in vehicular fights over nothing. So be careful on this roundabout. This was the first traffic circle or roundabout, as the Brits called them I'd ever seen. We were rotating on the outer edge of this traffic whirlpool, and I missed our turnoff. I put on my signal and looked to go inward a layer, and of course, the guy next to me stood on his horn and gave me 5. "Fuck him," said Barker, rolled down his window and gave him 5 over the top of the car. This was like big boy bumper cars at the state fair. The guy looked at us with his eyes bugging out and threw 2 5s at us, letting go of the wheel and yelling some obscenity. I pressed on the brake pedal. A horn immediately blared behind me. "Don't hit the brakes," yelled Barker. "There's always somebody right behind you. Just let off on the gas." The exhaust fumes were nauseating. At least they weren't throwing tire irons or beer bottles. Just 5.